Prince Kaberu ruled the Oyo kingdom with an Ekoi iron heart. After his father lose in battle, Kaberu rose to the throne too young, too bitter. He taxed his people, banned fishermen's boats if they sailed without permits, and mocked any talk of legends or magic. One night, a storm shook the coast. A ship returning with grain for starving villages was caught in it. Kaberu refused to send help. "It's just the sea claiming what's hers," he said coldly, but a girl's song floated through the crashing waves, soft and otherworldly. The ship miraculously returned to shore, unharmed. Fishermen whispered that a mermaid had saved them. Kaberu laughed. "A singing fish. Bring it to me." One moonless night, Kaberu ordered his guards to cast golden nets into the sea. To everyone's surprise, the net glowed when they pulled it up, and inside was Sadeboj the mermaid. She was breathtaking, not just in beauty, but in the calm presence she carried. She looked Kaberu in the eyes, unafraid. "I saved your people, not for your thanks," she said, "but because no soul deserves to be lost." Kaberu was intrigued. He imprisoned her in a grand saltwater chamber in his palace, not out of mercy, but curiosity. She did not cry, beg, or bargain. She only sang. And her songs, they pierced his sleep, softened his rage, and unearthed his guilt. Every night, he came to her chamber, pretending to mock her. Every night, he stayed longer. Days turned into weeks. Kaberu began to release fishermen from prison. He lowered the market tax. The palace staff whispered that the prince had changed. But still, he would not free Sadeboj. "You're different now," she said one evening. "But chains on one soul poison the whole heart." Kaberu replied, "I don't know how to live without control." Sadeboj looked at him gently. "Then you've never lived at all." One night, Kaberu dreamt of fire. His palace burned, the sea boiled, and he stood alone, screaming. When he awoke, he ran to Sadeboj's chamber. She was gone. The waters had risen and broken the chamber open. She had escaped. Kaberu became sick. Not of the body, but of the spirit. He stopped smiling, stopped eating. Chief Eliolo urged him to visit Elder Tob, the fisherman who once lived by the cliff's edge. The old man welcomed him without fear. "You fell in love, didn't you?" The old man asked. Kaberu didn't answer. "You caged her. You changed. And now you bleed without wound. That's the ocean's justice." Tob gave him an old, cracked shell. "Blow this by the sea. She may answer, but she may not forgive." Kaberu stood on the rocks, waves crashing below. He blew the shell, nothing. Then, a voice behind him, "I never truly left," said Sadeboj, rising from the sea. Kaberu knelt. "I was cruel. I was afraid of losing power, so I took it from others. But now I see, I've never had peace." Sadeboj looked at him. "I cannot live on land, and you cannot breathe underwater. But hearts can meet where words do." She sang. Not a spell. Not magic. A simple song, of sorrow, of healing, of hope. Kaberu cried for the first time since childhood. From that day, he became a true king. Not feared, but loved. He restored the seas, protected the coast, and built a temple in Sadeboj's honor, not to worship her, but to remind himself that mercy is the truest crown. Years passed. Kaberu never married. Some said he visited the shore each month, waiting. One day, during the blood moon, a figure was seen walking into the water, hand in hand with a woman whose hair shimmered like the sea. They disappeared beneath the waves. No one saw them again, but the sea was calm that night, and fishermen swore they heard two voices singing. 10 years have passed. The kingdom of Oyo has no ruler. The people tell stories of the prince who fell in love with a mermaid and vanished. But on one stormy night, a ship returns and Prince Kaberu steps off alive, aged, and alone. But something is wrong. He no longer smiles. He carries a crown made of coral, and he avoids the sea like its cast. Kaberu is welcomed home with caution. The nobles whisper, "He was dead. Where is the mermaid queen?" Kabaru builds a tall wall between the palace and the ocean. He bounds singing at court. He avoids mirrors, but Chief Elio, now older and wiser, visits him in secret. You loved her, Elio says. Whisper, I betrayed her. Flashback begin. In the underwater realm of Oyo, Siedoboj brought Kabaru to live in peace. But over time, Kabaru grew restless, jealous, and power-hungry. He began using ocean magic for power, raising storms to destroy enemy ships, commanding sea creatures, and declaring himself the king of the deep. Siedoboj begged him to stop. But Kabaru had tasted power again. He banished her voice, literally taking her voice into a shell to keep her silent. For that, the ocean spirit cursed him. He would be banished from the sea, and everything he ruled would slowly crumble. Siedoboj now lives deep in the abyss, voiceless but revered by sea creatures as the Silent Queen. Her songs are gone, but her heart still glows. She never stopped loving Kabaru, only stopped waiting. She watches over Oyo from the waters. Each time Kale comes near, a wave crashes as warning, but there's a new threat. A group of greedy lords, hearing Kale is cursed, tries to steal the throne. They plan to poison the sea, wipe out the mermaids, and crown a puppet king. Kabaru overhears this and panics. Despite his curse, he rides to the cliffs, stands by the sea, and shouts into the storm, Siedoboj, forgive me. I was a fool. I broke your heart and destroyed mine. But I swear, I will protect what I once tried to rule. The sea answers not with words, but waves. Siedoboj rises from the ocean, glowing with the light of the deep. She cannot speak. But she places the shell, her voice, into his hands. Kabaru kneels. I don't want your magic. I want your forgiveness. Siedoboj places her hand over his heart. The shell breaks, her voice is returned. She sings again, not for the kingdom, not for the sky, but for Kabaru. The sea comes. Kabaru's curse lifts, but the price must still be paid. He cannot return to rule. Kabaru gives the crown to a new leader, Chief Elio's daughter, wise and fair. He leaves a letter to the people. To lead is not to conquer, but to care. To rule is not to possess, but to protect. May the next crown be lighter than mine. He walks into the sea. Siedoboj joins him. They vanish beneath the surface, hand in hand, this time, not in shame, but in peace. Children on the coast still hear songs in the wind. Sailors say a glowing figure protects their ships. A statue stands near the cliff, a prince, a mermaid, and the ocean between them, and carved below it, let love rule where power once reigned. Years have passed since Prince Kabaru and Siedoboj disappeared beneath the waves. Their love became legend. But the ocean has not forgotten them. In the kingdom of Oyo, peace reigns under Queen Asa, daughter of Chief Elio, who still places flowers at the sea's edge every year in honor of the prince and mermaid who saved them all. One quiet evening, during the Tide Festival, a child washes ashore, a girl no more than 6. Hair as silver as moonlight. Eyes like the deep sea. And when she cries, the waves rise. The villagers name her Lola, meaning gift from the ocean. Lola grows quickly. Too quickly. By age 10, she sings like no human ever has, and when she does, winds stop. Rain falls gently. Sick animals stand again. People whisper that she is no ordinary child. Elder Tob, now frail, visits her. He looks into her eyes and gasps, "You're their child." Kabaru and Siedoboj, she nods. She knows. She always has. She is a child of love and sacrifice. Of land and sea. Of the crown and the current, but with great power comes a terrible truth. One stormy night, Lola dreams of a great whirlpool swallowing the kingdom. In the dream, a dark figure made of shadow and coral rises from the deep, the ancient sea warden, a being that once ruled before mermaids ever sang. He speaks, "Child of betrayal. Child of power. You were never meant to live above. Return to the sea or doom all." She wakes up shaking. That same day, sea creatures begin washing ashore, lost, confused, afraid. The tide pulls away and doesn't return. Siedoboj appears to her daughter in a vision. She says, "You must choose, live among them and watch them fall, or awaken the voice that will heal the world." Lola climbs the cliffs where her father once called the sea. She sings, the song echoes through the mountains, through the waves, through the stars. The sea warden rises, furious, you carry human arrogance and sea power. A mistake I must correct. But Lola stands tall, I am not a mistake. I am the balance. She unleashes the final gift from her mother, the Song of Unity. A powerful melody passed down from Sediaboch's people, meant to heal what was once broken. The sea warden begins to break apart not by force, but by forgiveness. He vanishes into foam, whispering, the ocean remembers love. With the threat gone, Lola returns to the palace. But she does not take the throne. She chooses to live by the shore, teaching children the ways of the ocean, singing to heal, and reminding all of her parents' legacy. Sediaboch and Kabaro are seen no more, but sometimes at sunset two glowing figures appear in the waves, watching their daughter from the deep. Oyo thrives. The sea remains calm. People say the ocean has a heart and that its name is Lola. The final words carved on her family statue now read, from wickedness came love. From love came light. And from the sea, a daughter who healed the world.